DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Good evening and welcome to DJNTV tonight. I'm John Young and I'm going to be the host this evening. Now tonight's show is a little bit different than a typical show, especially for those of you who follow us on Tuesday night when we do Tuesday Night with Ben Stowe. Tonight it will feature Ben, but this is a segment that we had in last week's Virtual Expo. We did our final Virtual Expo for 2020 last week. If you want to find out more information about that or go check it out, you can go to djntv.com/ right there, Expo. That will take you out to the page, and you can go. It was 2 nights. We had 21 seminars over the 2 nights and a lot of great content and such. But this was one of the sessions that I asked Ben to do for the show. Now, if you were at the DJNTV convention in February, that was kind of, and Ben's done a variety of different topics over the years, but typically he's kind of in that gear and tech side of it. And I wanted him to go a different direction for February and for our October event. In February, he got up on stage and kind of told his story a little bit about what got him to that point in time and some of the lessons he has learned as a businessman, as a family person, what have you. And this particular one, we were talking a little bit different direction about something I think that our industry is really, really needing. And I kind of threw that into Ben's court and said, hey, look, can you do something with this? Because right now there's so much fragmentation going on in the world and in the DJ industry. And it's like, we need to do something, because I watch every day that people who we would go to Las Vegas and we would all be in a suite having a beverage and talking and enjoying each other's company. And I've watched how we're just ripping each other apart right now. DJ people who were friends 3 to 5 years ago are blocking each other and sending hate messages or doing the passive aggressive thing is making a snide comment and then talking behind their back, what have you. It's just, there's a lot of animosity going on right now, and it's just not a really cool thing. So I asked Ben if he could kind of give us some thoughts and such and build on that idea of how that isn't going to be what we need as we go forward in this new world of entertainment and the mobile DJ entertainment, how this is going to be evolving over the next year or two. And how this can all fit together. So that's what Ben's going to dig into with tonight's show. Once again, if you'd like, go check out the whole event. It was at djntv.com/expo. It's out at djntvtraining.com. That's our main membership website where we have all of the videos and all of the different information. It gets you, if you're a member of our DJNTV Insider, which that's where the content is for the insiders, that gets you into the Facebook group. There's just a lot of things with that. You can go check that out. But the expo was last Monday and Tuesday, and it's right there. Let's see. Yeah, we got we got Big Daddy out there. Julio, thank you for joining. John there is with us. Howie, David. And there's actually 71 watching. So for those who Dave makes it 5, maybe that's the 5 likes. But there's like 76 now that are watching. So thank you for joining us, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube or whichever page or group you're watching from this evening. It's going to be a fairly short event. It's only about a 10-minute presentation, and then we'll be wrapping up. And then coming back, I'm not even going to talk afterwards. Once Ben's wrapped with it, then we'll be coming back then at the top of the hour. So right now we're talking 9:05. We'll be back at 10 o'clock Eastern. And Shani and Dan and I are going to talk a little bit about building that music library for those who are just getting started, which for those of you who've been in this for a while and you're like, this has been the worst year ever. Yeah, it is. But it's interesting how many people are coming into the DJ industry and are using this year to kind of get their footwork or get their little things in place so that they will be ready to start their dream of having a DJ business. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, is kind of directing that show towards those who are just kind of looking to get started in the DJ business. So let's see. So hey, Mike, thanks for joining from Los Angeles. Yeah, typically when we're doing the shows, you got Robin from Florida, Randy coming up from New York there. So thank you guys for being with. Let's jump into our spot with Ben Stowe this evening. And again, thank you for being with, and I'll see you guys back here at the top of the hour. Bye-bye.
I grew up in a rural Midwestern agricultural town, and we didn't have any stoplights, and at that we only had a handful of stop signs. From that point of view, the world was huge. We only had 2 TV channels, and they were our portal to mystical, far-off places like New York City and Los Angeles. Places I wasn't even sure really existed, except maybe only in the movies or on TV, because nobody I knew ever went there. Now, 27 years into my wonderful career in show business, I've traveled the entire world. I've been to New York, LA, and everywhere in between. I've worked in Europe and in Asia, and what I've come to realize is the world is not big at all. The world is very, very small. And despite the world being so small, somehow we find a way to divide ourselves more and more. We find more and more ways to separate ourselves from others, and we do so with an increasing amount of distrust, resentment, and hostility. This is compounded by something called confirmation bias, where when we search for things, we tend to look at things that support our beliefs and discredit things that don't. And this is made even worse by algorithm-driven content. So when we search for things, the results we see tend to support our positions as well, further supporting our belief that we should be divided. We must come back together. We must heal our divisions. We must unite as an industry and as a species. Now, to unite doesn't mean we have to assimilate. It doesn't mean we have to all be the same. In fact, just the opposite. We should celebrate our individuality. We should celebrate our differences. Diversity does not mean division. We're very fortunate in the entertainment industry because we're one of the most diverse industries out there. In fact, in a lot of ways, when it comes to entertainment style, there really aren't even any rules. We have a huge diversity in our entertainment offerings, in the ways that we provide our services to our clients, and even in the ways that we run our business. And yet, with all this wonderful diversity, here we are, one species, one people, trapped on a tiny rock, orbiting around a flaming ball of gas. When I was a little kid, my dad was a Green Bay Packers fan, my brother was a Chicago Bears fan, and I was a Minnesota Vikings fan. Now, none of us lived in Wisconsin or Illinois or Minnesota. None of us had ever been to Lambeau Field or Soldier Field or the Metrodome. And none of us knew anybody that played on any of the teams. Yet, on Sunday, the battle lines were drawn, and we dug in on our positions. Now, the Bears and the Packers both won Super Bowls, but we all live in Minnesota now, so I guess I won that round. Now, this is not to trivialize our differences, certainly not to compare them to a game played for entertainment. Some of the issues faced by our species are immense. Great challenges. But we're going to have a better chance of facing these challenges together. We're going to have a better chance of making it a better world and a better industry for ourselves if we do so united. Together, we are more than the sum of our parts. Together, we can reach levels never before seen in our industry. We can learn and share and grow as brothers and sisters. George Bernard Shaw compared ideas to apples. He said, if I have an apple and I give you my apple and you give me your apple, we each still have one apple. But if I give you my idea and you give me your idea, now we each have two ideas. Often, I think people divide and dig in their positions because they feel like they're protecting their piece of the pie. And it just wouldn't be a Ben Stowe talk if I didn't bring some nerd in this. So I've got an analogy that involves a pie, specifically a pizza pie. One might assume that if we have one pizza that's 12 inches and divided into 8 slices, and another pizza that is 16 inches and divided into 12 pieces, because there are now 12 people eating our pizza instead of 8, everybody would get less pizza. Let's nerd. To figure out how much pizza everybody's going to get, we're going to take the angle of the slice divided by 360 times pi r squared. Now, for simplicity's sake, we could just take this divided by the number of pieces, but this is just more fun. So let's do this. So in our 12-inch pizza, we have 45-degree slices. And again, 45 over 360 equals 1/8. Times pi, 3.14159653. Times the radius squared, which is 36. And that equals approximately 14 square inches of pizza. On the 16-inch pizza, we'll cut these into 30-degree slices, 12 of them, times pi, 3.14159653, times the radius squared of a 16-inch pizza at 64, and that equals approximately 16.75. Making the pie bigger, even if we divide it into more slices, means we all get more pizza. Speaking of nerd, let's talk about outer space. I mentioned we're on a rock rocketing around a flaming ball of gas, and there's nothing more nerdy than outer space, so let's talk about our recent trips to one of our closest celestial neighbors, the planet Mars. Recently, we put rovers on Mars, and we have hopes, of course, to put humans on Mars in the near future. So I thought, Earth from Mars looks much like Mars from Earth. When we look up in the night sky, Mars is simply a bright dot. And from Mars, Earth looks exactly the same. Check out this photo from NASA, and we can see that Earth in the Mars night sky is merely a dot, like the thousands of dots in our sky that the uninformed might simply call stars. And I wonder if even from one of our closest celestial neighbors, if Marvin Martian was real, could we make a compelling case that the differences that divide us on that tiny dot in the sky are substantial and meaningful, and that we have more not in common than in common? Could we make a compelling case to an alien species that we are in fact better divided than we are united on our tiny little rock? I don't think we could. I think life is like a puzzle. We're the pieces. Every piece is unique in its appearance and its shape. Every piece plays a role, but every piece is incomplete unless they're put together, and only then, when all the pieces are put together, do we have a complete puzzle. Only then do we have the complete picture. We have so much to gain united, and we have far, far too much to lose divided. We must come together.